next to dirty dumpsters. Everyone seemed ready to leave after that. Mom asked for the key to the locker so she can get our stuff, but I told her I didn't have it. She said she'd given me the key, but I turned both pockets of my bathing suit out to prove it was empty. I was pretty sure that she'd given the keys to Roderick, but he said he didn't have it either. Everyone searched themselves for the key, but we came out all empty-handed. This was a huge problem because Mom and Dad's cell phones and wallets were in that locker, so we couldn't leave until we found it. We went to a employee at the front counter and told him we lost our key. But when we asked what our locker number was, none of us could remember. There was hundreds of them, and they all looked exactly the same. She said the locker number was written on the key, but of course that information wasn't getting us anywhere. The guy said the only thing we could do was try to find the key, so we split up and traced our steps across the water park. Roderick went to the wave pool where he played hide and seek, and I went to the lazy river, but didn't have any luck. So he's under there. When we went back up, nobody had found the key. Mom said maybe we accidentally threw it away after we ate, so we dug through the trash near where we sit. Mom said we all concentrate real hard and try to remember which locker we put our stuff in. And when I did, I could suddenly see it clearly in my mind. So there's the family digging through the trash, dumpster diving, and sticking up the locker number. I told Mom we straight to locker 29. Sure enough, it was locked and there was no key in the door. We went back to the guy at the counter to tell him which locker was ours, but we had to wait a long time before we could get his attention. When we told him our locker number, he got out the master key and walked up to 929 with us. But by the time we got there, the key was back in the slot and the locker was empty. So that wasn't the right one, or did someone steal it? The slot meant that someone had found our key and stolen all of our stuff. Then I thought another possibility. When the Beardos took our launch chair, they must have taken our key too. I decided to tell Mom and Dad about the Beardos and how they probably stole our stuff to get some payback on me. Then I took them to the area where they saw them sitting, but by the time I got there, they were gone. Oh no. I was worried that they might have already left in the park, so I ran to the front gate. Sure enough, the purple van was pulling away. Oh no. I knew that the van was bad news for the beginning, but I never thought they were capable of thief. They used the phone at the front desk to call the police, but the cops said that without a license plate, it would be really hard to track down our stolen stuff. If there was any good news about our situation, it was that our key to the van wasn't in the locker because it was at back of the mechanics. So we walked back to the auto repair shop where the mechanic was getting ready to put in some new radiator. He told Dad it was going to cost almost $300, but Dad told him he couldn't pay because his loan just got stolen. That's not good. He told the mechanic he'd mail him a check the second we got home, and the guy said he couldn't take an IOU. And he said what he could do was put some slate on the busted radiator, which would last a day or two before it wore off. But the mechanic said we had to run the heater inside the van at full blast to keep the engine from overheating. He said it might sound crazy, but it actually works. Mom and Dad talked it over and decided we should just drive the van all the way home. We didn't have any money or a phone, but we did have a full tank of gas. Dad decided if we drove straight through, we would get back at 3 o'clock in the morning. Mom seemed pretty sad about the trip was getting cut short, but to be honest, I was kind of relieved. When we got back in the van, Dad turned up the heat just like the mechanic told him to, and within about 30 seconds, it was 100 degrees inside the car. We're turning on the heat. Mom opened all the windows up front, but it was like a furnace where I was sitting, since the windows back there don't open. I told Mom I didn't think I could make it all the way home without dying of heat stroke, but I said I'd be fine as long as I stayed hydrated. Then when she got 2 cases of water out of the bowl and brought them into the van. I can't deal with heat. Ugh. We headed out on the highway, and I went through 4 bottles of water in the first hour. I tried to fall asleep to make the trip go fast, but I woke up when someone started honking their horn. People in the car next to us were waving their arms trying to get our attention. When I looked behind us, I was surprised to see that tarp on the boat was loose and flapping around in the wind, and everything inside our boat was flying out. Oh my god! Cars were starving left or right trying to avoid our stuff flying through the air. By now, Dad was seeing what was going on in the rearview mirror and pulled over next to the side of the road. We spent the next 2 hours walking down the highway trying to recover all of our stuff, but we had to give up when it was too dark. Once we got back to the van, we sorted through our stuff we had collected. I'd say I found about 2/3 of the clothes I'd packed for the trip, but Mom said there were whole bags that were missing. What was really gross was some of our few items we picked up wasn't even ours. Roger found a pair of underwear that was stiff as cardboard. Once we got back to the van and to the car, Mom said we needed to start thinking about eating. Roderick wanted to open the package of cinnamon rolls that were still in the grocery bag, but Mom said they hadn't been refrigerated and he'd get sick if he ate all of them. Mom used a GPS to find a place to eat, but the only places that were open at hour were fast food restaurants, and Mom wasn't happy about that. We ended up pulling over at the rest stop along the highway that had a fried chicken place. Since we didn't have any cash or credit cards, we had to storage around the floor of the car for loose change. We came up with $3.52, which I'm pretty sure was enough to get a drumstick and a thigh. Mom said we probably had a value menu with less expensive items. We got out of the car and walked to the restaurant. When we got to the entrance, the doors were locked, and we could see the workers inside, but apparently at that hour, the only thing was open was the drive-thru. We got back in the car and tried to enter the drive-thru lane, but the boat, it was too tight to squeeze, so we had to repark and go through on foot. We stood next to the menu and waited for someone to come on the speaker and read the take order, but no one did. Dad said there must be kind of sensor that could detect the weight of a car, so we did our best to trigger it. We're stopping up and down. Eventually someone inside noticed us and stopped through the drive-thru window. Mom asked what we can get with the money we had, and the cashier said we can buy a small box of chicken nuggets and a biscuit. That's it. So we got that, plus a handful of barbecue sauce packets, and then we went back to the van and split up the food in 5 ways. We drove for an hour or so, but by now it was pretty obvious we weren't going to make it all the way home in one shot. So we're going to have to find a place to sleep. We didn't have any money for a hotel, so Mom tried to find a campsite nearby. The closest one was 10 miles in the opposite direction, though. That's when we're just going to have to take the next exit to find a place where we could park and sleep in the car. I was just open about anything as long as we could turn off the heater when we stopped. But as soon as we took the exit, it was clear we made a mistake. First of all, the road wasn't paved. There was any gas stations or stores or even any houses. There were just trees on either side of the road and no street lights. We drove for a long time, but the road was narrow and there wasn't a good place to pull over. I think everyone was getting pretty spooked. And eventually Mom told Dad we should just get back on the highway. But Dad kept saying he was positive that at any moment we were going to find a good place to stop. The farther we went, though, the more nervous Mom became. Because now even the GPS didn't know where we were. Lost. We saw some signs up ahead and we all got excited that maybe we were getting back to civilization. But we were wrong. Right at the moment when everyone's nerves were totally shot, there was a really loud noise. So this is a hunting area. Bang! Oh, I remember this. I know what's going to happen next. This is from the movie. Dad swerved off the road and our car came to a stop in the mud. My ears were ringing and I looked around to try to figure out what happened. I expected to see broken glass everywhere, but the windows were intact and there was some kind of weird goo all over them. Roderick had the gooey stuff on the back of his head, and he was totally freaking out. I still didn't know what was going on, but then I looked in the grocery bag, which had shreds of cinnamon roll package inside. The tube had exploded because the bag was sitting right on top of one of the heater vents. But Roderick didn't know that yet. He had uncooked the cinnamon rolls all over the back of his head, and he thought dough was his brains. What upset Roderick even more when he saw Manny licking the stuff off his fingers. Once Roderick figured out what happened and calmed down, he cleaned up the inside of the minivan with some paper towels. Then Dad turned the car around and drove back to the highway. At the next exit, there was a supermarket with an empty parking lot, so Dad pulled in for the night. We only had 4 reclining seats in the van and 5 people, so Mom volunteered Dad to sleep in the boat. I know Dad was looking forward to using his boat on this trip, but I'm guessing that's not what he had in mind. That's the best spot to sleep. And that is it. We had a long 44 minutes. I'm gonna probably have to put this in parts.